On this last video for 2 points, I'm going to show you how to make a pyramid and then a cone and then a cylinder. And I'm just going to kind of show you all on the same one. Okay, so for the assignment, you have to draw a pyramid somewhere and then a cone somewhere else and a cylinder in the third spot. But for the demo, I like showing them all in the same cube. So you'll see me erase, but I like showing them all in the same cube because then you see that it's very similar. You can see how the steps are just very slightly differently each time. But again, you'll have to show a pyramid, a cone, and a cylinder on the page. You won't be able to cheat and do exactly what I'm doing here, or I'm just kind of sort of tearing through them. So just keep that in mind, okay? So I drew a cube again. There's I drew sort of the corner of the box, which is just a vertical line, and then went to my right vanishing point, and to my left vanishing point, the top and bottom of it. I closed up the left side. I closed up the right side. I closed up the left side. So right side went to the vanishing point, and I had to draw the inside on this one. Left side went to the vanishing point, and again, I have to make sure that I have, that part that's not visible, the inside corner. Okay. And then what's going to happen is that the whole idea of doing a cube is that you draw the cube, and then you put the cube, you center it up inside the cube, and then technically when you erase the cube, then either that cylinder or cone or pyramid is already in perspective because the box was in perspective. All right, so this is really similar to 1 point perspective. So if I want my pyramid pointing up, again, I could have it pointing out like this, I guess that way, this way. You can have it pointing to whichever side you want to. I'm gonna have it pointing up here where the, basically the top is on this, or the peak is on the top plane, okay? So then all I really need to do is I need to crisscross the corners because I'm trying to find the exact center of this top plane. So just making an X, you can see the corners, I lined them up, made an X, or I'm making an X. I just draw a line connecting the two. Okay, so that is actually the exact center of that top plane. Okay, and so then, if I was gonna go with a pyramid, there we go, my line was a little crooked. What I'm doing is I'm connecting it to all 4 corners on the bottom. So there we go, okay. Can't see that one, I could draw it if I want to, but don't really need to. So then there's my pyramid, okay? So if I had made the box a little wider, maybe a little wider on this side, or, depending on how you shape it and depending on where it is in relation to the vanishing points or the horizon line, it might be a little stretched or it might be a little wide and short. So mine's a little bit stretched, it's a little tall, but it looks all right though. So it's in perspective, okay? So again, you would draw a pyramid somewhere, basically doing exactly what I did. So then I'm going to erase this because I'm teaching the class and I can do this. What you'll have to do is draw another box somewhere, do the same steps that I did there, and then you're going to make a cone now. So same thing with the cone, you either want it pointing up or out, or whichever way you want the little point pointing to. I'm going to stick with the same thing. I'm going to have it pointing on the top plane of the box. So you still need to find the exact center because you have to put that point in there. Okay, and again, the little peak on the cone. So I make an X, okay? And so then on the bottom, and again, you can sort of freehand this, but I found if you actually follow these steps, it just kind of helps you to draw the ellipse. And there's actually more steps where you could really break up the bottom plane, and then you're sort of just connecting the dots, and it makes you this really nice ellipse. But we'll do sort of the shortcut version. So again, there's like the center point of the bottom plane, okay? And so X, again, it's, a line makes you an X. That's exactly like it was for 1 point. But for 2 point, you're gonna divide it up, 2 more times like you did in 1 point, but you have to line up the vanishing point on the left, draw it through that center line, and then it's just the vanishing point on the right side. And you draw it through that, again, draw that center line. And so now I have an X, but I also have a cross, or a plus sign if you want to think of it that way. So where the plus line touches, or the plus lines touch, that's where you're gonna create that ellipse. And so sometimes I'm really good at eyeballing them and getting them out exactly. Sometimes I'm not, but just do the best you can. Again, try to get that curve, because really this is a circle, but since it's in perspective, it's going to be more of an ellipse. Yeah, probably more like that. And so now instead of having to draw a whole ellipse or a whole circle, you're sort of drawing quarter pieces or pie shapes. And so getting that little curve is a little easier. Okay, so I think I did okay. Maybe this one should kind of go up a little higher. But then it's that center point of the cone, and then you just line those two up. And so really what I'm trying to do is just trying to find the, the center and then the whitest spot. See, so it's the whitest spot. And there we go, I have my cone. Like I said, you would, so you would draw a cone somewhere on your, on your homework. And then you'd have to start over again and draw a whole box. And the reason you would draw the whole box is because now you have to do a cylinder. Okay, so you have your one cone, but you need to do one cylinder. So, and again, I'm just going to do it in the same spot here, partially because I can, but the other part is really just because it's the same steps. So if it's a cylinder, it's got to be round on top as well. So, X, and then I lined up the vanishing point with, the center and drew my line here. Okay, with the left vanishing point, lined up the center and drew it to the right, and then, created my ellipse. Well, to do a cylinder, you just need that on the top also. So again, crisscross the corners, you get an X, and that finds you the exact center. And so then you use that exact center to break it up again. So as you can tell, I'm lined up with the left vanishing point, and then I, draw through that line, or through that dot. And then now the right vanishing point, and there we go. Okay, there's my plus sign. Wherever the plus sign touches, and that's where you're going to make that curve. Okay, and really they should come out the same distance. So, because the idea is this is a vertical line. There we go, close enough. Close enough for the video. So these should come out to the same distance, so you can always kind of adjust them. So this one, one might have to go a little wider, you might have to bring one in. But again, the idea is that it's basically a vertical line. So I'm just gonna say this sort of there. All right, yep, close enough. Okay, and then, yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, and there's my cylinder. And so then really what you outline with a marker, same thing with your pyramid and your cone, is you're just gonna actually outline what's visible. So for here, since I drew a cylinder, I'm gonna, as carefully as I can, draw that curve. And then up here again, I have to draw this ellipse that I know I'm already going a little crooked. Yep. Way more crooked than I should have. So you can try and take your time and do a better job than I did here. I'm just trying to speed this video up. It's already up to 9 minutes. So, so that, you wouldn't have to outline the box. And the same thing when you do the pyramid and the cone, you don't have to outline the box, you just outline the shape. And again, just try to get that curve as careful and gracefully as you can. So like I said, didn't come out quite as good as I wanted to on mine, but it's okay.